When you hear the term leader, what comes to your mind? You would most likely imagine a loud, commanding figure, someone who fills every room they walk into with their presence, who commands attention with an energetic voice. Society has long perpetuated this stereotype, telling us that to lead, we must project power, exude energy, and dominate every conversation. But what if leadership didn't have to be so loud? What if it could be quieter, more thoughtful, and, dare I say, more empathetic? Today, I'd like to challenge the notion that effective leadership requires being loud or overly vociferous. Good leadership should not be defined by how loud you can shout or how domineering you can be, but rather by the ability to create a meaningful impact, sometimes even in the quietest of ways. Now, this isn't just an abstract idea to me, it's a personal one. A few years ago at my school, I ran for a leadership position for Hands for Hope, a community service club. It was election day, and I remember looking around at my competition. The other candidates seemed to embody the textbook definition of a leader: vibrant, extroverted, and ready to grab everyone's attention. I, on the other hand, felt a little different. I've always been introspective, someone who likes to think deeply about what they say before they speak and prefers meaningful connections with others over commanding and dominating a crowd. And yet, deep down, I knew I had ideas, good ideas, that could make a difference. In a world that celebrates the extrovert ideal, I wondered, could somebody like me, introspective and reflective, ever be seen as a true leader? I decided to take a leap of faith. I gave my speech authentically without pretending to be someone I wasn't. And to my surprise, I won. That moment changed how I viewed leadership, as it taught me a profound lesson. Leadership doesn't have to be loud to be effective. That year, as a leader, I saw firsthand how my quieter leadership drove purposeful change. One event that year stood out in particular: a fundraiser where we sold candy bars at a school orchestra concert to support and raise money for a nonprofit called Guide Dogs for the Blind. On the very night of this concert, I gave a speech in front of a sea of hundreds of parents, sharing our mission and inspiring more donations. I knew that the fundraiser needed visibility to succeed, and so I spoke with my heart, with the intention of being heard, and not for the purpose of being seen on a stage. I shared why the cause mattered and invited people to support us. That speech made a huge difference. Dozens of parents and students stopped by our table afterward, eager to contribute. Volunteers felt inspired to sell more candy. In the end, we raised more money than we'd expected, and I felt a sense of fulfillment I will never forget. Reflecting on that experience, I realized that being a quieter leader isn't a weakness, it's a strength. You see, leadership isn't just about being in the spotlight. Yes, being loud might grab the audience's attention, but quieter leaders often hold it in a way that's deeper and more lasting, engaging their audience through words that resonate and create a widespread impact. Introspective leaders also bring unique qualities to the table, qualities that are often overlooked in a world that prefers to view leadership through a more extroverted lens. For one, introspective leaders tend to listen more, empathize more, and give others the space to contribute. They don't hoard the limelight, they share it. And in doing so, they build a team that feels valued, heard, and empowered. When I was working with some of the club members that year, brainstorming ideas for fundraisers, I made sure that everybody on our team got a chance to share their fundraising ideas to the club, writing them down on a big whiteboard to show how we valued their input and took it into account. Doing so created a collaborative environment instead of a competitive one. Encouraging everyone's contributions allowed for a large variety of ideas, which inspired our members to be innovative and creative, and helped them to feel more engaged and involved with helping our community. Quieter leaders also bring a sense of calm and focus to the room. In high-pressure situations, they are often the ones who think clearly, weighing options carefully before making decisions. This kind of thoughtful leadership inspires trust and confidence in a team. 407 years ago, in the history of the United States, a quiet leader saved the Union and was instrumental in ending slavery. That leader was Abraham Lincoln. He was a figure who exemplified the power of quiet leadership through his ability to guide the nation through its darkest period, not with loud commands, but with quiet strength, empathy, and wisdom. Rather than asserting dominance, he led with humility and diplomacy, keeping a calm but firm resolve. His quiet confidence enabled him to unite a divided nation and instill hope through moral conviction. Lincoln's leadership reminds us that true strength often lies in the quiet wisdom of a leader who listens before he speaks, leading not with noise, but with empathy and courage. But let me be clear. Being an introspective and thoughtful leader doesn't mean lacking confidence. It means leading with authenticity. It's about embracing who you are and using your strengths to make an impact, whether you are standing on a stage or working behind the scenes. Some of the most brilliant minds in our world have been quieter people who use their introspection to spark creativity and innovation. Take Jane Goodall, for instance, an exceptional leader of science who traversed the boundaries of scientific thought, challenging previous norms and using unorthodox methods to make groundbreaking discoveries. She stayed true to herself, not feeling the need to fit into the traditional mold of a scientist. She used her quiet strengths of empathy and forming deep connections to discover more about the secret life of chimpanzees, spending hours quietly watching them and observing them in the solitude of wilderness. Her quiet, intelligent observations challenged previously held scientific beliefs, proving that chimpanzees are omnivores. They make their own tools, and they have similar social behaviors to humans. As students, we should not have to change who we are in order to lead. We shouldn't have to feel the need to outshout others or act in ways that feel unnatural and alien to us. The world doesn't need more leaders who only crave attention and the spotlight. It needs leaders who are thoughtful, empathetic, and willing to listen. So, to the introverts, the thinkers, and all the quiet voices in this room, your way of leading is valid. And to everybody else, look around. The quiet leaders in your community are often the ones making the most profound impact. Let's redefine what it means to lead. Let's build a world where leadership isn't measured by who speaks first, but by who listens with intent, where it isn't about standing above, but standing beside. Let's create a world where leadership isn't about volume, but about vision, where it isn't about being the loudest, but lifting others up and making a positive impact. So, to the quiet and introspective leaders among us, keep leading in your authentic way. The world needs you.